OK，Hello，大家好，这是你们的伦哥。然后现在我们今天很荣幸的请到了美国的实力扣将 Connor Barth。It's been an honor. It's an honor to have you on Raw Talk, and we have a lot of audience right now. You wanna give them a brief introduction of yourself?
Yeah, sure. So it's also an honor to be here. But my name is Connor Barth. I am a professional dunker of about the last 5 years. And I've also been an online and in-person strength and conditioning coach for like the last 4 years. So that's pretty much my story.
Okay. So how tall are you?
So I'm 6'4" in shoes.
And weight?
Right now I'm 190 pounds, so like 86 kilograms, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. You mind telling us your standing reach?
Yeah, so my standing reach, the last time I measured it was 8 feet and 3.5 inches. So not super long. I've actually got pretty short arms compared to most people my height. So I don't know if you know about the like the
Wingspan?
wingspan. Yeah. But my wingspan is 4 inches shorter than my height.
Oh, that's
So
crazy.
yeah, tiny arms.
So what is your max vertical reach? Like highest you've ever reached?
The highest I've ever touched during a test was 11, 11, I believe. So 11 feet, 11 inches. And for that time, I don't remember the math that I did. At the time, I had done the math wrong, and I thought that I had a 47-inch vert. I don't believe that's correct, though. I think it's like a 46-inch max vert.
Yeah, that's crazy. 'Cause, you don't have long arms, but you still jump high.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely jump high. So
So I understand that you are a full-time pro dunker right now.
Um, I actually wouldn't say that I'm like full-time pro dunking. I mean, I do it as often as I can. There aren't that many pro dunking shows though, and it's not like this humongous career that most people really make much off. Uh, Most of the money in pro dunking comes from more like social media and that kind of stuff, like getting, companies to sponsor you, things like that. And I don't really do too much of that because I've never been that interested. But every time I get asked to do a show, I do it. So
So
it's
I'm
usually a
always
few a year.
curious about how pro dunking is like. How is it like?
What is it like? Um, I would say that it's pretty hectic. Um, if you're talking about the organization of it all. Like pro dunking's not organized very well. So people just kind of message you on Instagram. They offer you an amount to show up, or you demand an amount, which is usually what happens now. Uh, and then, they pay for your travel, they'll pay for your hotel, you go, you dunk, and that's it. And it's usually pretty like last minute. You don't normally get, hey, we're gonna have this event 3 months from now, so you get to prepare and like get ready for the contest. That doesn't normally happen. It's usually like a week or two before someone goes, hey, we're having this thing, and then you're like, okay, I'm uh, whatever, I'll figure it out. That's fine. Um, so it's like that, and then I mean that's the best way to describe it. It's just disorganized, but yeah.
Yeah, I understand there's an event called Dunk Camp. I think you were on
Yes.
a couple years ago.
Yeah, I've gone actually to dunk camp every year that it's happened except this year because of breaking my hand. But it's an event put on by someone, his name is Andy Nicholson. and he lives in Utah, and it's basically the best dunking event that there is right now because one, it's super organized. You know when it's going to happen for about 8 months before it happens. So you get a lot of time to prepare. And then also the entire event, there is a contest and there's also a show, but the whole event is just to teach people how to train for dunking, you know, what is the professional mindset behind dunking? Like how did we become so good at dunking? You know, technical aspects of dunking. So we pretty much go over everything. And all the pros for the most part go to that event. And, you know, we're just talking one on one with people.
So I'm assuming that you will be there next year, right?
I will 100% be there. Yeah. I love dunk camp. If even if I stopped doing other dunk events just because of focusing on other things like coaching and things like that, I would still go to dunk camp every single year for the rest of my life.
Okay, that's cool. So does dunking pay well?
So the most I've ever made in a year off of dunking it's by itself, I think was $7,000. So dunking dunking itself does not pay very well. I think there are a lot of things that you can get paid well being a good dunker, such as coaching or, you know, again, finding sponsorship deals for social media. I know a lot of the guys do really well with the sponsorship stuff.
Isaiah?
Uh, I don't know if Isaiah really does much sponsorship stuff, but Isaiah does do the online coaching, and they've done really well for themselves with online coaching.
Yes.
So yeah, THP, yeah.
And Isaiah is like the biggest dunker on YouTube, right? He has
I
most
think that I think
subscribers.
that Jordan Kilgannon is bigger technically. He just doesn't
Oh yeah.
post as often. Jordan, I think Jordan has like 500,000 or 600,000 subscribers, but he doesn't post videos quite like Isaiah does. So
Do you know him well, Jordan?
Isaiah? Oh,
Yeah, Jordan.
Jordan? Yeah, I actually lived with Jordan for a few months. So a few years ago, we are good buddies. So actually, all the pro dunkers that you see, we're all pretty close to each other because there's not that many of us. So all of us talk pretty often. We have a big group chat and Instagram that we all talk in all the time.
So there's no enemy or anything like that.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. There's there's some enemies, but we don't talk about that.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, have you heard of any Chinese dunker, or have you seen any China dunk videos?
I feel like I wouldn't know them by name,
Mhm.
but I had seen a Chinese dunker, I believe, who he was a 1 foot dunker. Um, who was jumping from like almost the free throw line. Uh, that would be the only Chinese dunker that I've ever really like seen or heard about. And we've talked about him before in our group chat.
Do you think he's good?
Oh yeah, I thought he was great.
So I'm going to show you some clips of Chinese dunkers, and I want to hear your thoughts about them. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you see my computer?
Yeah.
Let's start with the first one. He's probably the best in China. A lot of people
Okay.
say he's.
Oh wow. That was really good.
And the next one, still him.
That's
Okay.
also
The
very good.
third one. So any thoughts on this guy?
Yeah, I mean, I think that he has amazing bounce. It's interesting because I hadn't seen a 2-foot like Chinese dunker before, which is what I like. I prefer 2-foot over 1-foot normally. Obviously because I'm a little biased because I use 2-foot, but
yeah,
that was extremely impressive, which now makes me wonder how many dunkers there are in China that I don't know about, that I should probably know about. Yeah. I've always heard how big basketball was in China and dunking, but I've never gotten to go, so I've never really gotten to experience it because COVID happened when I was supposed to go to China to do a dunk contest.
Oh, which one?
FIBA?
FIBA?
No, it wasn't FIBA. It was, I'm trying to remember. This was like 2.5 years ago. I can't remember the name right now. I wanted to say it was like something that sounded like Kings of Air or something like that.
Oh, Kings of Court.
Kings of Court, yeah.
Yeah, that's in Shanghai. Okay, let me show you the second dunker.
Okay. Over 4 people.
You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
It's pretty good. Oh gosh. From the way he started that, I thought he was going to be doing between the legs behind the back.
Isaiah Rivera dunk.
Yeah.
Okay, third clip.
Everyone's got the 360 scoop out of the hand down.
Yeah,
apparently.
it's very popular here.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Interesting.
Okay, this is the third guy.
That was nice. Fast hands.
It's short guy. He's like 5'9" or something. See the scorpion. Everybody does that.
Yeah. Okay, that's really good. That's the best dunk that's been done so far.
Really?
Yeah. That dunk's
tell him
really
you said
hard.
I would tell him you said that.
That dunk is so hard.
Under both legs?
Yeah. Doing between the legs over someone, like a normal one, is pretty easy. I mean, if we're talking like pro dunking. But doing under both is a lot more difficult. So I would definitely say that was the hardest
dunkers. Who do you think is the best?
Based off what I saw, the first guy is the best dunker.
Yeah, okay. He's won like every dunk competition this year in China.
Yeah. How tall is he?
6'3", 6'2".
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say like he doesn't look super tall, but the height that he gets and how hard he was dunking, and also he's not really like doing dunks over people so much, is what it looks like. That would make him the best in my opinion. I think this isn't a bad thing, and this is kind of like an American dunk thing, but we all are starting to hate dunks where you jump over people.
Because you get the push off, right?
Right. So we've started like going towards doing only dunks that don't do that, to just not have it there. So, but some dunks are actually harder over people with a push off. It's like that's why under both, I think under both is like harder to do over someone than it is to not do over someone. So,
Why is that?
it has to do with how you have to take the ball out of their hand.
Mhm.
Like if you just do under both by yourself, you don't have to mess with the positioning of the other person's hands, and also you have a little bit more leeway with how you can bring your legs up. But when you go over someone, you obviously have to clear them, so you have to think about clearing them with both of your legs, and you can't kick them in the face or something if you put your like it if you go up to do that dunk and you balance improperly. Usually what you do is you end up like extending your legs out a little bit to fix that. So if you did that when you're jumping over someone, you're just going to hit them and then you're going to fall. So
Do you usually do over people dunks?
no. No. I do them sometimes, and in certain contests you basically have to do them because the judges like them.
Yeah,
Um
the audience love
but Yeah, but when I'm practicing, unless there's a specific one I hadn't done before that I'm working on, or I just want to, for fun, I don't do over people dunks that often anymore.
it. Yeah. Okay. So when was your first dunk?
My first dunk would have been about 13 years ago when I was 16. So, yeah, it was in high school. I used to go. I wasn't like a dunker at the time, and I played basketball, obviously. So I would go in the mornings and I would shoot and practice and things like that before school started. Uh, and I got my first dunk one of those mornings, like messing around. I was trying to dunk. And actually, my dad was the girls' basketball coach at this school. So he was the one who would let me in. And I remember I like got the dunk. I like went off one hand and like two hand like barely made it. But I remember like freaking out and like turning around, and he was like talking to someone, and I was like, "Did you not just see that?" I was
Oh,
like, "I
he never
just
noticed.
dunked." He didn't know, yeah. And it took me like 3 more months to get another dunk after that, because then I had like all this pressure because I knew
Yeah.
that I could do it. Yeah,
So was it off one leg or two legs?
yeah, one leg. Back in high school, I jumped better off one than I did off two.
Left foot?
Yeah.
Okay. So were you in the basketball team back then?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, on the team was maybe a strong statement, but I definitely played basketball. I mean, I made varsity basketball my freshman year. Um, I didn't get to play too much, mostly because my Spanish grade was not so great.
Uh,
And I went to a school where if you had any grades that were not above a B, you were not allowed to play a sport on varsity.
that's funny.
So, yeah. So I rarely got to play because of that, because I basically refused to do Spanish or English class. So
But why did you
stay in
choose the
school.
class?
Why did I choose the class? I
Oh,
didn't.
it's mandatory.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep. I was not happy about it at the time, but it is what it is. So
So did you stop? I wouldn't say stop, but did you stop going to the basketball teams back then? Since then?
since then, um, well, so after high school, I still played. Um, like my junior year of high school, I had some college offers from like smaller places. And then I tried to go walk on at a Division 1 school in my city, and that didn't work out. So then I kept playing because I mean I just loved basketball. So I ended up going to like the hood, um, and playing like street ball all the time. That was a lot of fun. I did that for like 5 years. Um, I
Oh,
think that's
where
when I
was it?
actually
Where were you back then?
this was in Dallas,
Oh,
Texas. So, Dallas and Fort Worth, mostly in Fort Worth, but they're right next to each other. So, and I would just drive all over the place. Like, there'd be guys like, oh, we're gonna go hoop at this LA Fitness today. So I would just drive an hour to the other side of Dallas to go play basketball. Um, but I mostly did that. I think in that during that time is when one, I learned actually how to play basketball, and two is I started learning how to dunk. Because even through high school, I was okay at dunking, but I wasn't anything crazy. I could do, I think when I left high school, I could like do a windmill, but nothing, not like a crazy windmill. I could just do a windmill.
regular
Um,
women.
yeah. And like a 360 or something, but again, it's not very hard. It's like a baby 360. And yeah, so I kept playing. I actually ended up playing some semi-pro ball for a team in Dallas that no one's gonna know about, but they're called the Dallas Heat. There's some pictures out there of me in their uniform. Um, I did that for a year, and then I found out about professional dunking and decided that like I was gonna just 100% commit myself to pro dunking. So I did it. So that was it. And then I still played quite a bit. Like I don't know if you knew this, but I worked at a place called ATG for a while.
Uh,
Um
like the gym like stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Coach people how
Yeah.
to do squat, strength and conditioning stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I worked there for a while, like a year and a half, and we played basketball twice a week. Because all of us were just basketball players who started that company. So, and then since then, I haven't played as much, but I'm actually working on playing more. So,
Yeah, okay. Um, but if you don't play basketball, do you do cardios?
no,
No, just dunking.
no. I mean, like I do some sprints sometimes. Um, But honestly, dunking, if you're dunking long enough, I mean, dunking will get, as long as you don't take super long breaks, dunking will get you like the cardio that you need. And also the way that I lift on most days, I don't take super long breaks on most lifting. Which in itself is kind of like getting some cardio. Um, although there are like it is something I'm working back into my routine again because one, I do want to dunk or I do want to play basketball more. Uh, and also I just think, get a little bit leaner too. And that's a huge deal with dunking is like if you can lose an extra 5 pounds but still feel good, then you should probably do it. So
So what is your training like? What is your
just my
training
training
like?
like?
Yeah,
Well, it
I
depends
mean,
on
I
the
mean
time.
strength training, not dunking
Yeah,
training.
yeah, yeah. Um, Currently, I mean, for the most part, it's, squats, deadlifts. I do lots of accessory work. There's lots of like, plyometrics. Right now, nothing too crazy because the last year for me has mostly been injuries. Um, because apparently I'm old now. But
Wait,
so
how
I'm
old are you?
working back. I'm 29.
You're young. You're still young.
Oh yeah, no, I'm young, yeah. But I'm working back up to like more intense training right now. So there's nothing too crazy. But the biggest ones would be like squats, deadlifts, accessory for the lower body, so like calf raises, things like that. And then I do plyometrics pretty often, but it's very light plyometrics right now because I had broke my hand, but before that I had a knee thing that happened at a show in Miami that I did. So I'm just making sure that's all good before I go like hardcore in the weight room again.
So how many dunk sessions do you have every week?
So currently none, but like normally I have one full effort session, and I'll have another shorter kind of, I'll either do like a low rim, so I'm not jumping very hard, or I'll do just a 10-foot rim, but with like 70% effort. And so I'll just mostly work on like approaches and the starts of dunks, and I don't worry if I make them because that's not what I'm trying to do that session. I just work on getting the motions down, and then when I have my full speed, like full effort session a few days later, then I really like I go do the same dunks, but I just try to finish them at that point. So, and if I'm not
How many
lifting,
dunk?
I'll do
Uh,
more, but go ahead.
yeah. I mean, how many dunks do you usually attend in one session, like the full session?
Um, I mean, it varies a little bit. Like I have done sessions that were 5 hours long.
Oh,
Um, yeah, like when I finished living with Jordan Hilgannon like 3 years ago, I had a 5 hour dunk session with him before I left. Uh, I would say that on average it's about an hour and a half, and I would say that I probably jump about 40 to 50 times. Not all of those being like full jumps. Probably full jumps, it's like 25 to 30. I'd say that's about normal. I don't think that's where someone should start in case someone hears this.
that's too many.
Um, yeah. But I think that probably a good number for most people starting off is probably like 15, like max jumps. But the real rule that I go by on those things is that I don't limit how much I can jump, but I'm just very in tune with my body. So if I start feeling, like I'm not jumping as high, I just stop because there's no point. If I'm not jumping as high as I can, there's really no point to me to jump like that. And because I'm not going to hit the dunks I'm trying to do. And then the uh the other thing is obviously if anything starts to hurt, I just stop. So
So you would probably dunk 200, 300 times every week at
no,
least.
probably like not including low rim, it would probably be like 20 to 30 times a
Oh,
week. Now,
sure.
I used to do 4 sessions a week
Wow,
for like 2 hours, but I didn't lift back then. I only jumped. So,
good stuff.
yeah.
So what are your thoughts about when you go to LA Fitness or 24-hour fitness, there's always one side of the rim that's extremely low, like 9-9 or 9-8 or something.
Right.
So what are your thoughts
Um,
about low rim dunks?
think I think that one finding low rims like that is pretty hard not to do. Uh, so I mean, even around me, right? There's about like 5 different LA fitnesses. I think one of them is 911 and a half, and that is the closest rim to 10 feet. Um, so you can't always find an actual 10-foot rim. Um, so when it comes to low rim, usually my opinion is something like I don't care if people low rim at all. One, I think it's fun. And it's a really good way to practice. Like if you can get consistent at hitting a dunk on a 9 foot 9 inch rim, it's like that's really good. That probably means if you're really consistently hitting it on 9-9, you probably make it on 10 feet. Um, so there's like the practice element there. The only problem that happens with 10-foot versus lower rims is when we're talking about like brand new dunks that have never been done before.
Yeah.
That is a problem. Like if you hit a new dunk and you don't say what the height is, that's not good. And like I've done this in the past because before I didn't care, but now I do. But I think knowing just for that is really important because obviously if you don't hit a dunk on 10 feet, it wouldn't really be considered like done yet.
That doesn't count.
Right. So you'll be the closest to have done it. But I really wish there's like a leaderboard for this. So of like, oh, behind the back between the legs has been hit on 9-10 by blah blah blah, and then 9-9 by blah blah blah. So I think that would be pretty cool. Actually, that's being worked on currently,
Really?
but yeah. So that's my only thoughts on low rims, really. I think that most people should be low rimming to hit new dunks. If you're not, then like you can gain a lot from doing that.
Okay, have you ever tried higher rims? 10,
Yeah.
2? Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it like?
Yeah, I've tried dunking on an 11-foot rim. Um I didn't make it. I definitely can. It's so weird feeling to be back to like barely being able to dunk. Um what I haven't done and something that I really want to do, and I'm hoping that like my training and everything else gets big enough here in the next few like maybe year or two that I can get like a rent out a small gym and put a hoop in there that's adjustable. Because I want to try practicing on like a 10-2 or a 10-3 rim, and just see all the dunks that I can get consistently on a higher rim. Because then when you go do a contest or something, like a 10-foot rim would feel hilarious. Uh, so that'd be my main reason for wanting to do that. But yeah, I've dunked on high rims at shows. There was a show I did in Canada that like it was on a street and the street was slanted and the rim was at the high point. So then
Oh,
when you would jump, you were jumping uphill. So the rim was like 10-2 and I could barely dunk on it. This is like right when I first started doing contests. Um it was pretty funny.
so, I understand that you were in the Dunk League show, the show called
Hmm.
Dunk League. Did you have fun?
Oh my gosh, I had a ton of fun. I loved Dunk League. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of like behind the scenes of what
Hmm.
happened at Dunk League,
Right.
but man, I wish that the behind the scenes was available because I think everyone would die laughing. Like it was so funny. All of us were being just idiots behind the scenes. But that contest was, other than dunk camp, it's the most fun I've ever had doing an event. Actually, I take that back. It's the third most fun. But I just like the whole aspect of doing different challenges and not just having like a normal contest. Um, because I like the creativity that it makes people kind of experiment with. Um, and and I did pretty good too, so I was happy with that. Like, especially considering I was injured at the time, so
It, did you do well in the How High challenge where they keep
I didn't do horrible. I think I got like fifth out of 8 people or fifth out of 9 people. But that challenge was really difficult for me because I couldn't swing my arm.
yeah.
So I was kind of jumping like probably like 85% of how high I could have done it. I think I could have gotten like third or fourth if I wasn't having the shoulder problem I had at the time. But
Who was winner?
who was the winner?
Jordan
Jonathan Clark.
Sutherland? Oh,
It was, yeah, Sutherland was second.
yeah, because there's 2 seasons of it, right? There's season one,
There's
there's season
three
two.
actually.
Oh,
Yeah. I was in season 3,
Mhm.
and then season 2 had Chris Staples and Guy Dupuis, the
Mhm.
French dunker.
Yeah.
Um, and then the first season was basically the same guys as the second. Um, so, and there may or may not be a season 4. We'll find out sometime this year, hopefully.
So what happened?
What happened with me in season 3?
No, I mean, why there wouldn't be a season 4 this year?
Oh, I have no idea. The I I I've just heard that it may or may not happen this year. It will happen again for sure because it does really well for them.
Mhm.
Um, but it's quite a bit to kind of organize like the film crew and get a location for a week and also get all the dunkers there. So,
You have to stay there for a week to film the show?
it's we're there for about like 4 days, 4 or 5 days. So we come in a day before, and then we do the events for 3 days, like 2 to 3 days, and then we leave a day after.
Oh,
So yeah, it's all done back to back to back. Like we go all day, so it's like
that
done.
must be
We're like up at
tiring.
oh, it's rough. It's wake up at 9, like wake up at 9 a.m., be at the place by 10 a.m., warm up, first event. Okay, sit down, like shoot a bunch of the footage for in between, with like
Comments and stuff.
talking to us and yeah, the comments. Yeah. So that like takes an hour and a half or two. Then it's warm up again, second event. And then same thing. And then we eat lunch and then warm up again, third event. And then it's like, okay, like how late is it? Can we do a fourth event? If not, all right, everyone go to bed. See you tomorrow. Like, and yeah, it's rough.
Uh, what's your favorite dunk move?
My favorite dunk move. I'm gonna have to be kind of biased to myself, and it doesn't really have a good name, but I think that my favorite dunk move is the one I've done where I throw the ball behind my back off the backboard, then catch it and dunk with the other hand.
Oh,
Um,
I've seen that one.
yeah, I've only ever done it twice. Um, but one time was like in front of a big crowd, and I think that's probably my favorite dunk. Mostly because I did it. But I think other than that, if I'm just looking at all the dunks, not including that, um, probably it's between 360, 360 under both, um, or crown. I really like crown a lot. I just think it's super aesthetic. And then 360 under both I like just because of how hard it is. It's crazy hard.
So what about the one you threw against the wall and catch it using one hand
The
between the legs?
Yeah, that's called the win. And
What is it called?
I it's called the win.
Yeah,
Yeah, so people had done it off or off 1 foot before,
yeah.
and that was like that dunk is special just because it's the thing that really got me known for dunking. Like when I made that dunk, I think I had like 300 followers on Instagram or something. Like, and I had posted a lot of dunks. Like no one knew who I was. And but I made that dunk and no one had done it before and it got on Sports Center and like it was pretty neat. Um yeah, but I love that dunk. It's just not that hard. Like if when I'm healthy, I can go into a gym and hit that dunk like one out of every like 5 tries now. Um It just took a long time to learn how to do it. but it's really not that hard. And a lot of the other dunkers could do it if they just practiced it, but it's not something you could ever do in a contest because usually there aren't walls behind the rims in contests.
I think it's the timing that's
Oh yeah,
hard.
it's just the timing. Yeah. It's like throwing a ball off the wall and then making sure you jump over it and the pass has to be perfect basically.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. Yeah, you as long as once you learn the timing though, then it becomes really easy. Because there's actually quite a bit of variance that the pass can have. In terms of like if you're jumping like this, like sideways, right, and you're bringing your leg up to catch the ball,
Mm-hmm.
the ball can be like anywhere in this area.
Yeah.
You don't, it doesn't really matter too much. The only thing you can't do is you can't have it be like really far forward. But other than that, it doesn't matter. So at first when I was doing the pass, I just didn't realize that. So my passes would always be too short and I would end up like hitting my own leg. But once I realized if I just throw it far enough back, it'll be fine. Then it was just timing. And then when I got the timing down, now I just hit the dunk all the time. So
That's a great dunk. I love that one.
yeah, no, it looks really cool. So, and I've actually got some, I've got a spreadsheet of dunks that I want to make in the next 2 years before I like retire from pro dunking.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some variations of that I could do. They would be like, they would probably become my favorite dunks just because they're stupid. So,
Okay. So is there any new dunk you're working on?
well, other than what I just mentioned,
Mhm.
um, there are more new dunks I'm working on. Uh, there's one I'll talk about because I know that it's already been seen like on social media before. Some of them have not been seen by anybody, so they will stay in the vault.
Oh, okay.
But so kind of how I did the behind the back off the backboard thing. Tyler Curry, if you know who he is, he's
Yeah.
a dunker from California. Yeah. So he recently posted someone like himself doing low rim, and he did that same dunk, but instead of going behind his back, he goes under his leg. So that's a dunk that I've had on my list to do for like 2.5 years now, ever since I did the original, like I first made it. Um, so that one is one I really want to hit. I'm hoping this year because I think I could do it this year. Um, yeah, but there's probably like I don't have my spreadsheet up right now, but there's probably like 12 dunks that have never been done that I'm
Mhm.
working on currently. Yeah.
Have you ever tried? No, have you ever made the bounce dunk where you catch the ball off a
Oh,
lob and then throw on
yeah.
the ground?
So no, I've never made it. I've actually been, I don't have footage, unfortunately, because my camera died. But there was one day, when I was jumping like the highest I'd ever jumped, and I like back rimmed it. So I got like really, really close. And I think the bounce dunk has kind of changed over time because it originally started where people were doing it, where you would have your back to the rim, you would bounce it down, and then you try to finish backwards. So when I back rimmed my attempt, and it was on a slightly low rim too, it was like a 910 rim. Um, I was doing it that way, and that way's actually harder. Everyone switched, and now they're doing it the
They sprung.
where you run forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you just bounce, and then you just have your hands like up and just try to guide the ball in. I think if I had been doing it that way, I would have already hit it. At least on like a 910 or 911 rim, maybe not 10.
Did
Um,
anyone made it right now?
no, no, no. There's videos of Dexton Crutchfield.
Oh yeah.
Um, and they're edited. So he didn't make it, but it's a social media thing, so he's just getting views and it's fine.
Fake video.
But no, yeah, yeah. But no one's made it yet. Um, So, but a few people have been really close. The closest person is probably either Anthony Hamilton or Dan Gross is the real, like, he's really the closest. And he's almost done it on 10 feet. Everyone else has been doing it on like slightly lower rims, but Dan has like almost made it on 10.
Dan's got mad hops.
Insane hops.
How
So
tall is he?
he's my height.
But
He's like,
he's
or
got
he might be like
longer arms.
6'3". Yeah, he's got longer arms and he also just has more bounce. He has a higher vert than me, probably by like, I would say like 4 inches.
That much?
Yeah, currently. At my best jumping, him and I were probably about the same vert. So
Okay, so my next question is, how would you rank yourself in dunking?
Good question.
Top 5,
I
top 10?
think right this second, if we're saying like who is the best right now, I think that I'm probably like top 15. Just because of injuries and stuff. I think when I'm healthy, I'm easily top 5. Uh, and I don't. It's pretty hard to say like that this one dunker is the best, bar none. Because we all do different dunks and have different styles. Um, so yeah, but I would say top 5 or top 3 when I'm like at my best.
In your prime?
Yeah, especially in contest. I just have a history of doing really well in like shows and contests. Um, so I haven't gotten to do nearly as many as everybody else, but every time I've done one, I've done like crazy technical dunks. So
Okay. Um, top 3 dunkers in your opinion,
in
aside
my
of yourself.
opinion, currently or just all time or
Currently.
currently? Well, I think currently Isaiah Rivera is the best dunker. I don't think there's too much debate on that.
Mhm.
And then I think probably second and third would be Jordan Sutherland, um, and probably Tyler Curry. After that, Jordan Kilgannon is close up there, on like his best days. But I think Tyler Curry's doing like really, really well. So I think he's probably up there in the top 3.
I think Tyler Curry's got the most creativity.
I agree. I definitely think so. I also think he has the best like style.
Yeah,
He makes things look really good, even if it's just a
right.
normal dunk. So, and that's a huge deal, especially with the way that contests are done currently. Like, if the judges think it looks cool, you score well. It doesn't matter if it was actually hard or not. So,
I think it's the flexibility he has.
I
Very
think that's a
flexible.
huge, I think that's a big aspect of it, especially his like shoulders and stuff.
Yeah.
But he's also got mobile hips because of the way that he like kicks his legs out.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I definitely think that's an aspect. Yeah.
So if you were to compete in a dunk contest, what would your strategy be?
Oh gosh. Well, that question's a lot more complicated than you might think.
I think that depends
Um,
on the other guys, right?
exactly. So the first consideration is who am I dunking against? Because and also how much time do I have before the contest? Um, so if I know who I'm dunking against, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to make sure I do the dunks that they do before they do them, if I can. Because then if you like, I just want to do things so that if they do it, they're copying me and their score goes down. So like, for instance, if I'm dunking against Jordan Kilgannon, let's say I'm dunking against Jordan Kilgannon and Isaiah Rivera, and I'm going first. Probably the first dunk that I would do is I would try to do a 360 between the legs because they both do that dunk. Isaiah does the dunk a lot.
Yeah.
Um, So if I do that, then it removes really him being able to do it. He'll have to do harder dunks, which, there's a bigger chance of him missing. So try that. And then it's like, I know Jordan does not do the scorpion in the first round of dunk contest. He's like never done that. So I'm not going to do that dunk first. Isaiah has done 360 between the legs in the first round of a contest though. So that's why I picked that dunk. So then it would just be like that. I would just go through, and if I can do a dunk that they do consistently, I will do it so that they can't. So I would probably do scorpion next. Like it wouldn't look like Jordan, but if I do it, the judges will mentally be like, we saw that already. You're copying Connor. That would kind of be the idea of the strategy. But the other part that comes in is the judges, obviously. If I see, let's say that I do 360 between the legs and it scores okay. And then Isaiah's like, well, I'm just going to jump over and push off someone and, do a normal dunk. And it gets 10s. Well, I'm probably going to switch up and start doing push-off dunks just because, that's what the judges want to see. Yeah. You really have to play into what the judges want. It's not really what is actually the hardest dunk currently. So yeah.
I know a lot of dunkers have track and field background. They were track athlete back then. So do you have any experience in track?
I have some experience. I was not a track athlete though. I was just a basketball player. But I did like 1 year, I did high jump. My sophomore year of high school, actually, like right after I started being able to dunk, I did high jump for a year, and I also did like some of the shorter sprints, like 100 and 200. But nothing that really like largely affected how I trained or anything. It's actually something that now I've been more interested in because the last few months I've been training like a collegiate track athlete. And I had to kind of change up how I was training him just because he's in track. And I really like the way that I'm training him. So it's something that I'm more interested in doing. And I know like THP Strength, for instance, they've actually been coaching me for a little bit because I just wanted a third party to kind of look at my training and give me advice, And they do lots of stuff that is very track oriented just because like track is the sport of being athletic.
Yeah.
Basketball is skill in in that specific sport. But basketball is not really about being an athlete. But track is just jump high, run fast, you win. So it makes sense that the training all kind of is, going that direction.
So did you do well in high jumping?
Yeah, I was pretty good for, only doing it for a season and like not really knowing what I was doing. So I think it just showed I had lots of like raw talent as an athlete. If I could go back and do it again, I would do track 100%. Honestly, I mean, I might do track right now. So
okay, so would you consider yourself a left-hand dunker or right-hand dunker?
I think that I don't have a preference. I'm naturally right-handed, but playing basketball for so long got me used to using both my hands. So it really just depends on the dunk I'm doing. If the dunk is easier to finish with my left, I'll do it with my left. If it's easier to finish with my right, I do it with my right. So I don't have a particular preference to either one.
But do you shoot with your right or left?
I shoot with my right, although I can shoot with my left.
Okay.
When I was working at ATG, the gym before with all the basketball players, me and the other head coach used to like only play using our offhand. Or we would purposely do shooting drills with both hands instead of just using one. It was an experiment we were doing, so.
So my next question would be, what is it like to play with all these life guys?
Um, it's fun. Those guys are pretty funny. Um, I mean, it's just like playing basketball for the most part. There's just a lot more trash talking.
Yeah.
And like how you see the videos come out is not usually what actually was going on.
No, it's not.
Like like they lose games. Sometimes they do just absolutely destroy people. But my the biggest reason that I don't necessarily like playing with them too much is that because there's cameras and people aren't playing to play, they're playing to be on ball is life.
Yeah, they're
Um,
playing for content.
yeah. They're like it's not what I would consider like the most legit basketball you could play. And also it's not as fun because people are like slamming into you. It's like the football player thing we talked about, but just worse because they just want content. So they're gonna be mean. They're gonna try to hit you. Like,
Yeah, they do that intentionally.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And I've been every single time I've done something with them, I got hurt. So I'm kind of just over street basketball.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, just because like I would rather play against like high level guys indoors with refs, just because that is basketball.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But, are they good?
Oh yeah, they're good. Yeah, they're really good. Um, like most of those guys would be even better if they weren't playing street,
Yeah.
because the only way that most of those guys that you go and find on street courts, the only way that they actually keep up with you and can win is by playing super rough and fouling and, all that stuff.
Mm.
Like if they were playing an actual game with refs, they would get blown out by the Balls Life guys because most of those Balls Life guys played college basketball and, you know, like are high level players. I mean, they're not going to the NBA most likely, but you know, they're not gonna lose to some random dudes at a at a street court. So
But I don't think um, Slim and Duke go to college, do they?
uh Duke, I don't know. Slim did go to college for a year, I think, and he did play. So I don't know where though. I don't know how big the school was, but I definitely know that he did.
Yes. What about Tim?
Uh I don't know too much about Tim either. Most of my interaction has really been with Austin,
Austin Mill.
and yeah, and Slim. So
Austin is nice.
yeah, I mean Austin's the most skilled player on the entire team. So, and I think Austin would probably do the best in like an organized basketball
Yeah. With
system.
reps indoor.
Yeah, yeah.
He was a D1 player, I think, right?
I don't know. Not sure.
So is
Definitely
there?
good though.
Mhm. Yeah. Do you think you have a chance to beat those guys in one-on-one games?
Yes, I have beaten them in one-on-one games.
Wow, that's nice.
Um, I think that this is the hidden secret that I have is that I'm actually really good at basketball.
Mhm.
I just don't care that much about it because I like dunking so much. But I think that if I took basketball seriously, that I could be really good. But I don't care to. So maybe it's an excuse. But I mean, I've played against like when I've coached and played against NBA players, and they're gonna murder me, but I could still like play, like it was okay. I didn't feel like super out of place or anything. Now I would, because I'm so out of shape and, with all the injuries I've had. But yeah. No, I definitely think I can hold my own with most basketball players. So, but I just know how to play my role. I don't do things that I know that I shouldn't be doing. So,
So who's the best basketball player among all those celebrities you've played?
ooh, that's a great question. Um, I think not like going outside just the East Coast squad. I think that probably some of the best players I had seen was like White Iverson. He's
Oh,
pretty good.
mhm.
I played in a celebrity game with him, and again, he has really good handling. He shoots really, really well. Like I don't know how well he would do in like a super organized situation because I've never seen any of these guys not play in celebrity games or just street ball. But he seemed pretty good. Um, trying to think who else I've played against. I think probably just strict basketball players. It's probably between like Wyatt Iverson and Austin.
Uh-huh.
I think that like all around everything basketball players, they're probably the best that I've played with. There might be someone I'm forgetting, but yeah.
Have you ever played with Frica?
Yeah, yeah, I've played with Friga.
What do
And
you
I
think
think
about him?
he's pretty good. Again, I think that he does I think Friga would do really well in like an organized system. Again, he's actually played college basketball too. I don't remember where, but he's also a super nice guy. So there's that, which is super helpful. But I think, he plays street ball, but I think he would actually be even better in real basketball. So,
Oh, I think Frica's like the biggest influencer on YouTube,
oh
right?
yeah. No, he's huge.
And he's
Yeah. In terms of like street basketball, Friga is kind of the guy that did it.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so this is pretty much it. Thank you for your time. Um, I'm having some questions right here. You mind answering them?
Yeah, go ahead.
现在是一个像Connor Barth 提问的环节了啊，咱们迅速打出你们的问题啊，看有没有什么有价值的问题想问他的。Oh, you have tons of fans in China.
I have tons of fans in China.
A lot.
Dude, that's awesome. I kind of always figured that that was the case. Um, I need to figure out a way to like reach out to Chinese fans.
Mhm.
So
This is your chance.
this is my
Pretty big
chance.
here.
Hey man, you can hit me up, guys.
Yeah. Okay, so there's one question right here. How do you deal with um, thicker right thigh and
Thicker right
leaner?
thigh.
I'm assuming you have thicker right thigh compared to the
Yeah,
left.
yeah. I know what they're talking about, yeah. Um, so I don't. Like my right leg is bigger than my left leg. It's not as bad as it used to be now because I've just trained long enough that it's evened out. But because the way that I learned to jump high and how I got stronger was just like jumping all the time.
Yeah.
Um, I created like that imbalance where my right leg was much bigger than my left leg. There's a lot of like whatever nuanced technical reasons for that, but it doesn't really matter. The point is though that like that I it's not something that I was ever concerned about. It it wasn't causing me any pain, it wasn't causing me any injuries, and I could still perform really well. So I never focused solely on fixing that issue. The only thing I focused on was getting stronger and more athletic as a whole. And like if it ever became a problem, I would have addressed it, but it hasn't been. And the truth is that I see a ton of people, and I've coached literally hundreds of people that have that kind of like one quad is bigger than the other. And for I would say 99% of them, it doesn't mean anything. So it's just
Okay.
natural. Yeah.
So there's another question. In a dunk session, how would you prepare yourself to get yourself ready and hyped up for dunking?
Yeah. So things that I like to do are one, I like to have a good music playlist because I think I I basically can't dunk without music. I have to have some music. Um, I also really like to like have my day set out. So normally I dunk on Saturdays. It's kind of like my favorite day to dunk just because of how work and everything works out. So I usually wake up and I'll immediately like drink a bunch of water, and I'll eat like eggs and some sausage or something. Like I'll have like a like decent sized breakfast, and I decide what time I'm gonna go dunk the day before. So usually it's around 1 in the afternoon because it's not late in the day, so I'm not getting like mentally tired. Um, but it's not so early that I'm not fully awake. And then I don't eat lunch before I go dunk. I usually just have that bigger breakfast and then I'll wait until about 30 minutes before I go dunk, and then I'll drink like a coffee or
Get yourself going.
there's like all these pre-workouts you can find everywhere. There's a million of the same ones. Um or even something like a Monster energy drink. Not
Mhm.
really the best choice because of all the sugar, but you could. Um and then yeah, and then I just go and I do the thing. Like if you're talking about like that sort of prep, that's what I do. And usually I have a list of dunks that I want to do, or at least attempt in the session. If you're talking about like warming up once I'm actually there, um, I just do, I shoot around for a little bit. So usually I'll shoot for like 10 minutes just listening to music and like kind of like jogging around, dribbling the ball, getting a feel for the ball. Um, and then I'll do like a specific warm up that is like skipping, sliding sideways, different types of twisting movements,
Yeah.
just all ramping up into I do light jumps. So, like, I'll start off jumping like 30% and I'll see how everything feels. And, 30% for me, I usually can dunk. So I'll be like doing little baby drop in dunks.
Mhm.
Um, and then I'll do one and then I'll wait for about 30 seconds and then I'll do another. And also when I warm up to dunk, I dunk with every single plant. I don't just jump off the main one, just to make sure I get everything like loose. So, and then I just keep building up. So it'll be like 30% one jump or two jumps. And then I'll do like 1 foot jumps instead of 2 foot jumps, but I'll go 40%. And then I'll switch back to 2 foot and I'll do 50%. And then once I feel good enough, I'll just kind of just start. Like I'll usually get to around 75, 80%. I'm like, okay, I'm warm. Everything feels fine. I'm going to go 100%. And then I just go. And that's about it.
Mhm. Thank you. So
Yeah.
another question would be, how would you adjust yourself mentally if you keep failing those dunks, keep missing?
Like the warm up dunks.
Not like the
Or
max.
yeah, yeah. So usually what happens is I go into sessions with specific dunks I want to hit. And if I'm not hitting them, I just kind of accept that it's okay at the beginning. Partially because you're just not going to jump your highest every day. It's not going to happen. Your hand, like your coordination is not always going to be the best that it's ever been, you know. My goal is to get better, and I try to focus on like not just the making the dunk aspect of getting better. So the reward for me that makes me happy about the session is, did I get better? So it's okay, did my approaches feel good? did the movement of the dunk I'm trying to do feel more natural? Did I like, maybe I don't make the dunk, but it's like, did I consistently get the ball towards the rim instead of just like maybe losing the ball or something? You know, all of those things I kind of take into account, and I think that helps me stay more relaxed and happy. And also it's just, you know, if you make it, you make it. If you don't, you just go lift another week and try again. Like, and you're gonna have quite a while to hit a dunk. Like, even right now, this is something I've like keenly been aware of recently because I've been working back from these injuries that I've had. And like I had a dunk session yesterday where like I think the hardest jump I took was like 30% and it didn't feel great. But I was just like, you know, this is just 1 week.
Yeah.
I've got plenty of years of jumping high if I just get, you know, back to like my knee being perfectly healthy. So this isn't a huge deal. So I just try to keep it all in perspective. I think that's what helps.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the mental thing, not a physical thing.
Yeah. No, it's just a decision you make on like how you're gonna react to it. So
yeah. Okay, so this is pretty much it. Do you have anything to say to your Chinese fans that I can translate for you?
sure. What do I want to say? I I would mostly like to say thank you for supporting me, and that also I will find a way to reach out to you guys more often because I really appreciate people being interested, not just in me, but in dunking and training and everything in general. So
这个 Connor Barth 刚说感谢你们的支持吧，然后他说他希望找到一个方式来能接触到中国的他这些 fans，以后希望多和大家交流。I think a good way to reach to Chinese fans is through the Bilibili.
yeah.
You should try it.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like I don't know how much of like China speaks English.
Not many.
Not many. Yeah, it'll be interesting because if I did it, I would probably need to find someone to do like Chinese translation for me on videos and things like that. So I'll have to figure that one out.
Yeah.
But
Dexter has an account. Bilibili.
Who does?
Dexter.
Dexter.
There's
Why
the
is this not
dunker
ringing a name?
who lives in California, but
Oh,
mostly,
right. The person we talked about. Yeah.
he has an
Yeah, no,
account.
I think it's a good idea. So I will definitely look into it. At first, I thought I couldn't make an account from the US, but I have since figured out
It's
that's not true.
Dexter, not Dexter.
Oh, Dexton has a Billy. That cracks me up a little bit, but I could see it. Does he speak Chinese?
No, not at all.
He just
And he just gets somebody to get the video translated, and there's subscribe.
Yeah. Wow.
Subtitles.
Yeah, that's interesting. Not a bad idea at all. So
you get paid too.
Yeah, that was what I was curious about is I guess you get paid through people who subscribe to your channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know there's if you use YouTube, you get $100 per 10,000 views, right?
I think it's like around there. Yeah. It's like I think it's like anywhere from $4 to $10 for 1,000 views. So like 40 to 100 for every 10,000. Yeah.
So the same thing goes to Bilibili.
Bilibili. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I might have to look into it.
Yeah.
Especially since I'm already doing YouTube now.
Yeah.
I'm like, I might as well just make Bilibili videos also.
Yeah, I mean, uploading one video to one website is no big difference than uploading it to 10 websites.
Yeah. If you upload it to one, you can upload it to 100. It'll
Yeah.
just take you about 20 minutes more.
Yeah.
Just copy and paste everything. But I've been making like I want to make a bunch of educational videos on like training and dunking. And so yeah, I'm trying to look for ways to get that out to as many people as possible. So
Okay, so thank you very much.
yeah,
I'm
thank you,
glad.
man. I appreciate it a lot.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, I love talking about dunking and training. So
Yeah. 好，那今天我们的这个直播啊就到这里啊，连线就到这里了。然后这个他也是很感谢你们的支持。然后下一期应该我们会请到 Isaiah Rivera，大概是这样。好，那大家今天就直播先到这里了，我要先下线了啊。All right, thank you. See you.
yeah, see you, man.